given the economic figures that came out today, which I think can only be described as dismal, wouldn't it be sensible to mandate the wearing of masks everywhere, not just on public transport? In fact, to do any measure that might help get the economy back on its feet that would help prevent the further spread of the virus.
So look, on the first point about, I should say, face coverings for public transport, not face masks, really important. I know that Peter's been working on this the last few weeks, and we're very, very keen. I'll ask him to say a word about that in a second. My understanding of the science, and I know that Stephen will put me right if I get this wrong, that in terms of sort of priority, social distancing is absolutely the most important thing, along with washing your hands and along with not touching your face. So perhaps those things are equal, Stephen will tell us. We found when we looked at the evidence on face coverings that it was distant to those things. In the end, as you know, and as I mentioned in my comments before, we've decided to bring those in and make them mandatory because it is something that actually helps your fellow commuter, your fellow traveller, and we thought that that was a good thing to do for society. By its very nature, if you are on a train or a plane or a ferry or a bus, you're in an enclosed area. That's not the case if you are out and about on the streets, and I think that may be the principal difference of this. I wonder if I can just use your point to ask Sir Peter to comment on the face mask coming in and the work that's going on there, and then I'll go to Stephen on your last point.
So thank you, Secretary of State. On face coverings, when we first were restarting the transport system, when people were first able to travel again, apart from essential workers, the government said then that face coverings were recommended when it might be likely that you would be close to other people. The reality of our transport systems, and particularly as the economy ramps up, is that there'll be more and more occasions at which you might be closer to people than you would care for. So it seems perfectly logical to me and all my colleagues as transport operators to mandate face coverings now, because as we get to Monday and the restart of non-essential retail and looking at more people going to work, it's much more likely that you'll see or be close to other people. So face coverings is a sensible thing to do, and we're expecting on Monday, because passengers are hugely sensible, for people to be wearing face coverings.
My understanding, thanks Peter, my understanding, it's an enclosed space, and I think that's the key difference between that and walking down the street. But I'm just going to, let's go to the expert, both on that and the R number question, Stephen.
So on the face mask, as I think the Chief Medical Officer and Chief Scientific Advisor said a number of times on this podium, the evidence is weak, but nevertheless there is some evidence, and it is better for enclosed spaces than open spaces where there is less risk of transmission.